In 2019, after a series of devastating natural catastrophes,
Lower Manhattan.
a global alliance initiates the creation of Dutch Boy, a sophisticated network of climate-regulating satellites, initially placed under the authority of the United States government. When Dutch Boy successfully defuses a typhoon over Shanghai,
Saved us all.
its lead architect Jake Lawson is summoned before a Senate subcommittee. His unauthorized intervention, though effective, results in a reprimand and his removal from the project. His brother Max Lawson, who works under Secretary of State Leonard Deckham, is appointed as his replacement. Consequently, a scheduled transition of Dutch Boy's control to a global governing body is postponed due to newly uncovered security vulnerabilities. 3 years pass, and during a routine mission, a United Nations field team operating in Afghanistan stumbles upon something baffling: an entire village inexplicably frozen solid in the midst of the arid desert, where temperatures should have been scorching. The discovery sends shockwaves through the scientific and intelligence communities, as it's the first major sign that Dutch Boy, the very system designed to prevent climate disasters, may have started to malfunction or worse, been hijacked. Around the same time, Mahmoud, an Indian engineer stationed aboard the International Climate Space Station, discreetly extracts data from the affected satellite. Shortly thereafter, he is killed in a suspicious incident that results in his ejection into space, but not before hiding the retrieved hard drive in his locker. Following this anomaly, Max persuades President Andrew Palmer to authorize an investigation, and then convinces Jake to return to the ICS to lead the inquiry. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, another satellite triggers a massive heat spike, producing a fiery tornado that nearly kills Chung Long, Max's old college friend and head of Dutch Boy's local division. Upon his arrival at the ICS, Jake teams up with Commander Ute Fassbinder and her crew to inspect the satellite responsible for the Hong Kong disaster. However, a critical malfunction causes the satellite to self-destruct, erasing all data.
Pick up every single piece of this thing and get it down to manufacturing.
Back on Earth, Ching discovers his credentials have been revoked, making it impossible for him to access the system. Sensing something far more dangerous, he contacts Max and warns him about an imminent chain reaction, codenamed Geostorm. Ching, pursued by armed operatives, flees to the United States. Jake and Ute later conduct an EVA to retrieve the hidden hard drive that Mahmoud jettisoned. Suspecting someone on board may be a traitor, they keep their findings secret.
We're on our way back.
They find the log files have been deleted, blocking their progress. Jake shares this with Max. Meanwhile, the ICSS crew begins disabling compromised satellites by colliding them with spares to prevent further catastrophe. After narrowly escaping an assassination attempt, Ching delivers a final warning to Max before dying in a staged traffic accident, leaving behind only the cryptic word, Zeus. Max and his colleague Dana uncover Project Zeus, a covert program designed to manipulate extreme weather patterns, thereby triggering a geostorm. Jake, Ute, and engineer Dessett retrieve backup log data from Mahmoud's locker and uncover a virus that wiped user access to the satellite network. Jake suspects President Palmer might be weaponizing Dutch Boy to engineer a crisis that would prevent the international handover. He informs Max that rebooting the system is the only way to stop it, but this requires the presidential kill code.
But I do now.
Max turns to his girlfriend, Secret Service agent Sarah, for help. As Max investigates further, he discovers that after Tokyo is bombarded with hail and Rio de Janeiro is flash-frozen, Orlando is the next target. When he seeks assistance from Deckham to obtain the kill code, Deckham reveals himself as the saboteur and attempts to eliminate Max. Max escapes and notifies Sarah of the betrayal. Together, Max and Sarah kidnap President Palmer to protect him from rogue agents and secure the kill code.
Oh yeah, I kidnapped the president, I've stolen state secrets.
They flee a lightning storm that destroys a stadium and eventually gain the president's trust, who allows them to proceed. After evading another ambush, Max and Sarah confront Deckham, who admits he orchestrated the entire conspiracy to eliminate U.S. adversaries, disrupt the line of presidential succession, and assert dominance on the global stage. Back aboard the Zeus, the crew loses access to all controls as the virus activates a self-destruct mechanism. As Dutch boy satellites malfunction, the planet is thrown into climate chaos. Countries across the world experience devastating and unnatural weather. Tokyo is pounded by an apocalyptic hailstorm, with massive ice chunks raining down on the city. Rio de Janeiro is hit with a sudden deep freeze, causing palm trees and beaches to be covered in frost. Orlando is next in line, threatened by a destructive superstorm. Each event is more intense and coordinated than a random glitch, making it clear that someone is controlling the system with malicious intent. Jake discovers that software engineer Duncan is the saboteur. During a scuffle, Duncan inadvertently damages a station window and is sucked into space, while Jake escapes unscathed. With the crew evacuating, Jake chooses to stay behind to ensure the reboot is completed. At the Kennedy Space Center, Max and Sarah bring President Palma to safety, but discover that even with the kill code, the self-destruction cannot be aborted, though the Geostorm has been stopped. When Jake becomes trapped behind a locked door, Ute, who remained behind as well, helps him reach the control panel. Together they complete the reboot, successfully transferring control of the satellites to NASA and halting the escalating weather catastrophes.
Transferring control of the net back to NASA.
They take shelter inside a replacement satellite just as the ICSS detonates and manage to send out a distress signal. A nearby shuttle intercepts and rescues them, where they are greeted by astronaut Hernandez.
Sorry I doubted you, Mr. President.
6 months later, a new generation of climate satellites is deployed, this time governed by an international consortium, with Jake now serving as chief engineer of the reform system.
So when you heading back up?
This sucks.
Yeah, seriously, this is so boring.
You know what, I can't do this for another second.
Enjoyed this recap? There's more where that came from. Subscribe to our channel for non-stop movie magic and breakdowns.